Okay. Hello. Hello, how are you? Today I am reading Lerato Mogoatle's Vagabond. Hey girl, how you doing? I hope you have had a great day. It's Friday. Okay, so I'm reading an absolute favorite. Okay. So I'm gonna read the back of the book. And you guys will tell me in the comments if you have read the book. But yes, I am reading Lerato Mogoatle's Vagabond, Wandering Through Africa on Faith. Hi everybody. Hi Ms. Wana. Hi Puleng. Hi Simule. Hello everybody. Hi Books and Rhymes. What up? Kaleidoscope. What's up? Okay. Please tell me in the comments if you have read Vagabond. This is Lerato's first offering. I actually do pray that she's writing some more. But anyway, I fell in love with Lerato when she used to work at True Love and she used to write travel travel articles? I don't know. Yeah, but she used to write for traveling. So she just made me fall in love with traveling and wanting to travel, and she'd go to the most amazing places. Anyway, and now she is a content strategist for Global Citizen, the last time I checked. She's a writer, she's an editor. She's an editor at Global Citizen Africa and professional traveler. She curates johariafrica.net. I love Lerato. I love who she is, and when she's talking, you just fall in love with the idea of traveling Africa. So man, you just want to listen to her talk about her love for Africa and her travels and all her crazy escapades. So Books and Rhymes says, I haven't read Vagabond, but I've heard amazing things about it via Cheeky Natives. She literally will make you want to travel Africa and not anywhere else, just go traveling. So I decided to read this today because we're still in lockdown. But I am guilty of borrowing my books out to family and friends but those who I trust. So I went and borrowed my own book from family, and because I wanted to read, I know there's a lot of books to read, but I wanted to read this today. So I went and fetched it. Yes, it is covered. I do cover my books for the very same reason why I'm able to borrow them out. And mine is signed. Yeah, so I'm going to read the back of the book first, and then I'll probably go through different parts where I would have underlined or whatever. Hi everybody who just came in. Tabu says, yes, tuned on the day you're reading my favorite. Yes friend. Hi Tabiso. Hi everybody. Hi love. Tabiso, I just did that. I'll let me tell you guys what I saw today. Earlier on, a friend of mine said, why do YouTubers go like this? I found it hilarious. I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, I'm gonna read the back, and then I'll start with the first line, because that is my favorite one. It grabs you, actually. I'm around 8 or 9 years old when our Saturday school teacher shows up with an armful of posters for a lesson that plants a seed that has grown into my life as a vagabond. I still remember it more than 20 years later as flashes of a picture of King Tutankhamun's gold death mask, lesson sheets with hieroglyphics on them, and a poster of the Great Pyramid. One memory is very vivid. I stay behind over lunch break and stare at at a poster of the Sphinx, transfixed by the face of a human on the body of a lion. This is the first time I discover that the world is bigger than what's around my corner, and it's older than I can fully understand. I vow to know this world. That's taken from the book. One of the things Lerato Mogoatlhe has always known with certainty is that whatever else Africa is, it is first and foremost a home. It is this belief that sees her leave South Africa with a plan to visit West Africa for 3 months, only to return 5 years later. Hi Angela, how are you? Sorry, I just wanted to... Okay, sorry. Vagabond is Mogoatle's hilarious and honest account of her 5 years living as a drifter in Africa. In between the borders, foreign architecture, and interesting new ways of life, she found passion, love, laughter, and heartbreak. You will be mortified at and proud of how she navigates herself out of difficult situations, like being misread by a man who tries to force himself on her. You will be regaled by the tales of how she gets herself out of trouble when she gives in to her mischievous streak, and how her street smarts save the day when unpaid invoices leave her broke. On these pages, you will find capsules of time spent in 21 countries in 5 regions of Africa. This is a travel memoir punctuated by a deep urge to know the continent intimately. The opening is insane, Tabu says. Yep, it is proper insane. Okay, I just read what is written on the book. On the her signing my book. Okay, so the first chapter is called You Are Home. And it's dated 24 June 2008. There are ways of arriving in a new country. You should know where you're going, have your first few nights accommodation booked, be able to converse in the lingua franca, and have a bottomless bank account, or enough savings to make cash the least of your problems. This is the way of the well-organized and the cash-savvy. I'm not this person. I arrive in Dakar at 3:30 a.m. on a dental floss budget. I don't know anyone, and my 7-word French vocabulary doesn't include please help me. Go ahead and tell me I'm an idiot. I aim stronger words at myself as I leave the plane at Leopold Sédar Senghor International Airport. I fill in my customs forms as if my hands have never held a pen. An official comes over to help me with the daunting task of tackling page 2, where I need to answer the horrific question of where in Dakar I will be staying. The first plan I come up with is to head to a nightclub, but then I realize I'm yet to see a club taking in revelers with backpacks the size of Mount Kilimanjaro. I anxiously watch it going around the conveyor belt until a guard comes over to ask if I have lost my bag. I put the backpack on a trolley and push it like I've never walked before, panicking with every step taking me closer to the exit, fending off touts and cab drivers. Dakar comes with 2 warnings. It's infamously expensive and brimming with conmen. Guys, Lerato is like, firstly, like, she's very brave. Like, I wouldn't even think of doing something like that. Like, A dental floss budget. Yes, Jane, like Lerato went to Africa with a dental floss budget, and she was going to stay for 3 months, which turned out to be 5 years. Hi. Getting into a taxi to nowhere is not an option, given the con men, obviously. The only thing I know about Dakar is that it's the capital city of Senegal, and that the country is home to Youssou N'Dour, Baba Mal, Ismail Lo, and one of my favorite writers, Sembene Ousmane. I also know about President Senghor's concept of negritude, and that Gerard Sekoto spent some time in Dakar and Casamance. I have no idea what I'm doing, only that I refuse to accept the image of Africa as the home of doom and gloom. I come up with my plan B as soon as I spot a uniformed gentleman holding a signboard with the words Novotel Hotel. I straighten my back to appear confident and hand him the backpack, warning that it's rather heavy. I'm the only passenger in the Costa minibus. I plonk into my seat and wonder if a colleague who suggested going to Hillbrow when I told her about my plans to travel around West Africa wasn't onto something. Before Dakar, I had been out of South Africa for 13 days on work trips to Swaziland, Zanzibar, and Ghana. No money, no experience, no social connections, I mumble to myself. And apparently no common sense too, because who abandons their life and career for something they don't know? Just when my heart starts sinking, the radio plays Youssou N'Dour's Birima. It's one of the most important songs of my life. The one I'd listen to and daydream about West Africa when I was still a student in 2003. I know I'll be just fine. Dakar has a great get up and go energy even just before dawn. There's music from clubs and cafes wafting through the air. Cab drivers hang out topless on car bonnets or pavements. On some street corners, there are already women setting up shop for their street cafes, firing up pots and unloading plates from trolleys pushed by young men. And you are? The manager of Novotel asks with a smile that sparkles as much as the chandeliers hanging over us. Lerato Mogoatlhe. Lerato Mogoatlhe, I reply. You're not on the system, miss, he says after a few minutes. But my travel agent confirmed my booking, I lie, hoping he'll let me hang out at reception until sunrise, as the realization that I have no idea what I'm doing starts to sink in. Standing in that reception area and pretending to be a guest provides me with some momentary comfort while I collect my wits. He calls another good hotel and asks the driver to give me a lift there. This hotel is several stars below Novotel's 5, but at $100 a night, it's still unaffordable. The night manager, Jean, makes more calls and sends me off to another hotel, promising to collect me there after his shift so we can look for an even cheaper place. My reasonable room turns out to be dingy with a sagging bed. The bedding looks like it used to be white. Now it's worn out and faded. The chair and table are solid but old and scratched, and the roomy bathroom has a toilet that shifts with my body. An upbeat Jean and our 10 a.m. appointment find me pacing around reception. I'm excited and anxious. I'm still frazzled by my disorganized arrival and the fact that I have no idea what I'm actually doing, but everyone I meet is friendly and kind. They greet me with wide smiles that make me feel welcome. It makes me believe that I'll be okay. Hello, hi everybody. Yeah, like Jane, I know it's very, very brave. I mean, it's enough to travel like here locally, usnachelete, but traveling like on a plane to another, like, within the continent, but without a budget is very risky, especially for a woman. But yeah, I love that she always reminds herself throughout the book that she's home and she'll be fine, no matter what happens. Non-payment of invoices in South Africa, or whatever work she was doing, or the days that it takes for money to arrive, she's never worried. It gives me a headache just thinking about it. I would have died. I would have called my mama, We find the promised cheaper place 6 kilometers away from the city center of Inyof. Via Via guest house is set in a small courtyard. It's quiet, save for the Ali Faka Tore and Tomani. The words in here are also a tongue twister. Diabates de Bay, another favorite, playing on Radio Pan Afrique. By the way, because of all the music that is across this book, I ended up having, I created a Spotify playlist because I needed to hear. And I know that Lerato painted a perfect image of her travels and her experiences with all the artists and everything that she went through. But I felt like creating a playlist meant I'm also there, so I do have a playlist. If you do listen to music via Spotify, it is called A Vagabond Experience. Yeah, there's a hammock on the way to the 5 rooms named after tourist attractions like Gori and La Croisée. At the bar restaurant, a middle-aged black woman sits alone, reading newspapers and drinking beer from a glass she covers with a coaster to keep the ever-present flies out. Some European travelers pore over guidebooks. Via Via is on Rue Lafayette. At the top of the street, off the main road, is a bank where 3 boys look on with smiles, waiting to sell me fake Louis Vuitton bags, Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses. An eye-level poster behind the bank sells dreams of instant riches, showing a man leaping with joy, a lottery ticket in his hand. There's an apartment hotel and an office building with medical specialists. There are small shacks selling everything from car tires to packets of Nescafe with a teaspoon's worth of coffee, 1 laundry basket's worth of washing powder, flip-flops, newspapers, cooking oil, rice, and powdered milk. Like most of Senegal, Yoff is predominantly Muslim. Dakar is a party town, but there are no nightclubs and bottle stores in Yoff. The beach is the center of relaxation. Mornings feature tourists frolicking in plastic bag-infested waters, in between reading and tanning at the beach cafes. The cafes are compounds with bamboo umbrellas that you pay to use. The better off cafes offer plastic mats and have restaurants and open-air kitchens where meals are cooked in large pots on fires made on the ground. In the afternoons, the beach is a sea of blackness, with swimmers, runners, a pair of girls working on the taekwondo, and groups of soccer players with sensationally chiseled bodies. Ooh, I can see why Dakar is famous for holiday flings. Puleng says quite a lot of book drops too helped add to my TBR list. Yes, there were a lot of book drops. There were a lot of African artists. So besides being well-traveled, Lerato is literally an international person for Africa. Yeah, she sells Africa. That's why, Madame Africa is her Instagram handle. And Twitter as well. So, she is Madame Africa. So yes, guys, I think for what I enjoyed about the intro, it literally is so descriptive you are right in there at the hotel, like worrying with her, like, oh, what are you doing? Cringing. And I loved how, like, she was very positive about what, like, Africa, and she wasn't like, she sold it as it's not all negative and just always, like all sad. Everything is always like there was a clear picture of how there's love, there's friendships that are to be formed, there's people can actually welcome you and be genuine. And obviously there are some people who were conning her and stuff, but the amount of faith, Kumbu says, the amount of faith that Lerato can be equated to my faith in waking up every morning. And Jane says her outlook of Africa is affirming. Yes, you just put it right. Like, everything about this book is literally like saying, you know what, you travel Africa. Like, there's positive stories, there's good stories for this continent. I want to go back to, let me see what I wrote. Hey, I scribbled, guys. I scribbled. And I don't know what happened there, but anyway. Hey, there's name drops in here. Like, yo, guys. So because I wanted to keep track with my contents, I was noting down, like, chapters are called You Are Home or Train to Bamako. I would say capital of whatever, or Jene, town in Mali, like I was taking out the most important parts of it and saying, actually, this is what happened. In Timbuktu, she met Salif Keita, and she actually gay crashed a party or some sort of where Thabo Mbeki was, and like Lerato ne ubrave, guys, sebiti in Setswana, like a person with liver. You've got that liver. Yeah. And I'm gonna read my favorite part, Small Country, Big Heart, and that is on page 208. I loved, I need to actually revisit this book because this was now fast forward from 2008. In the beginning, she's in she is 2012, she is in Burundi. My high and pride, this is September 2012, my high and pride at being the only African journalist actively writing against homophobia in Uganda at the moment, and being the official photographer at the historic Pride Uganda keep me going in Johannesburg. My sleep is still restless, but I don't have my dreams anymore, even though my guilt has become my second skin. I decide to get back on the road in October, starting in Burundi. My fascination with the country turns into an obsession when a friend whose journeys around Africa fuel my wanderlust, Tapelo, beguiles Mahlatse and me with tales of his adventures in Bujumbura. And I love that she surrounds herself with all these people who feel that love of Africa and feel that love of traveling. Yeah, you are the company you keep, guys. I leave on a one-way ticket to Kigali, and she travels one way. Mugel, we're thinking, how do you return? Like, she will see, wherever the wind blows, where you are, So that's what I also enjoyed. I was like, one way, like, why? You need to know when you're getting on this bus, you're coming back 5 days later, you go into Mozambique and you're coming back on a Monday, and you must actually have a ticket of it. South Africa is one of the worst places in Africa to organize travel administration. Burundi doesn't offer visas on arrival, and the $90 fee is only payable in American currency. It means going to the bank with paperwork I don't have, as I haven't applied for a visa and I won't book my flight without it. Exchanging currency in Kigali and many other places I've been to around Africa is as easy as walking into a forex bureau. No questions, no paperwork, no hassles. My 2 days in Kigali are fun, and I even enjoy myself on a night out at Hotel Mille Collines, the setting of Hotel Rwanda. The South African Embassy has put on an exhibition of women who fought in the struggle against apartheid. The live band put on renditions of Kajanin, Brenda Fassie, Lucky Dube, and Mafiki Zolo, keeping me on my feet all night. I start warming to Kigali, even though I still find it sterile. I leave for Bujumbura a day after getting my visa. Like, who complains about a place being sterile? Like, anyway, I know I'll love Burundi at Kanyaza border when I see a life-size cutout of a traditional drummer and his ngoma. Like the picture I find on Google, he's wearing red and white robes. In my picture, a dancer's body is curled high in the air in front of a semicircle of drummers. It makes me want to feel the vibration of beat, the vibration of the beat that turns a man into a bird. I act like a child looking for approval, telling the uniforms and everyone within earshot how happy I am to be in their country. So she starts calling the officers uniforms. When a uniform asks if he can search my bags, I open them and ask him to get on with his job while I take pictures of the cutout of the drummer. A uniform at a roadblock smiles sweetly when I tell him that I'm too lazy to open my bags. I don't mean to disrespect you, but I am really not in the mood to unpack, I tell him. Welcome to Burundi, sister, he says. You're going to love it. There is nothing not to love about Burundi. The 7-hour trip from the border to Bujumbura goes through villages and towns that are surrounded by mountains and hills that come in every shade of green. Banana trees lean into the road, and when one of us buys fruit, grilled mealies or brochette, we get enough to share with people in the seats around us. It's impossible to drive a few kilometers without seeing the national flag waving from poles made with sticks. When we stop to load and offload people, young boys selling bunches of onions and carrots, beef kebabs and roasted corn stick their hands into the minibus. Rural Burundi bursts with color. Fields have autumn shades. People walk with umbrellas, and all of them are red, green, blue, and yellow. Old women wrap their hips in pagne with neon red, green, and orange prints. Long walls and the fronts of small shops are painted with the signature bright red of Leo Mobile Network. Leo is the Swahili word for today. Once in a while, we stop at roadblocks where uniforms mostly start a short, laughter-filled conversation with our driver before circling the minibus and waving us off. When they do step inside the minibus, it's to greet us and wish us Safari Njema. Kindness. And like not dodgy business, like have about this stress, they're not about to like put panic in people traveling and whatnot. They just want to chat and like wave you off. Bye. It's always said with wide smiles, and they wave at us until they disappear from view. I mean, I'm the only foreigner in the minibus, and everyone wants to know what I'm doing in Burundi. When the driver sees me dancing in my seat when he plays Lucky Dube's Together as One, he wants to know if it's my favorite song. I love all his songs, I say to high fives. The driver plays the best of Lucky Dube CD. Someone else wants to know what we eat in South Africa and recommends local dishes to try. Start with ndagala, someone says. No. Someone adds, try mukeke first. They also want my phone number. I don't have a local SIM card yet. And they write their numbers and home addresses in my notebook. You're welcome to stay with my family, they all assure me. When we get close to Bujumbura, a girl who has been quiet since coming in asks me if I have a hotel and insists that I come to her house until I tell her that I have friends I met at couch surfing and that a Kenyan friend I met on Twitter, Timothy, is expecting me. I outsource looking for accommodation to Timothy. Winding down the hills, boys on bicycles hitch rides on trucks by holding onto their bumpers. With the thick grey rain clouds, green forests and mountains that wrap themselves around the horizon, Bujumbura is breathtaking. The city is covered in mist and smoke, and all I can see is its flat zinc roofs, a grey Lake Tanganyika, and the mountains beyond it in the DRC. Bujumbura has indigo hills that jagged tops that are shrouded by tumbling grey clouds. As a destination, Buja, as its people call it, almost doesn't stand a chance of getting attention, bordered as it is by Tanzania, which has the Serengeti, Ngorongoro crater and Mount Kilimanjaro among a long list of other destinations. Rwanda and DRC, which have the Virunga mountain and its populations of the only mountain gorillas in the world, which are also found in Uganda. The only thing Burundi has at the moment is a travel advisory, warning tourists to stay away or visit at own risk. When we get to the bus station that connects Bujumbura to the rest of the country, as well as Uganda, Rwanda, DRC, and Tanzania, the driver asks me to stick around. He doesn't want the taxi drivers that are already waiting outside the door to overcharge me for the trip to the city center. See, kindness. And everyone is just genuine, you know? We love visitors, but cab drivers will always try to rip you off if you don't know the city, he says. I expect him to find me a cab. Instead, he takes me to a room at the corner of the compound where passengers register their names and passport numbers to confirm our safe arrival. He gives me a lift to Club Havana, where he waits with me until Timothy and his friend Anthony show up. They've taken the afternoon off work to help me settle in. This only happens 8 hours after my arrival. Excuse me. We walk across Boulevard de Uprona into a shopping complex with a supermarket, a restaurant that turns into a club at night, and a pharmacy. Every third shop in Buja is a pharmacy. We go into a salon and barbershop for me to meet Veronica and Martin and ask them to look after my bags. Timothy hasn't found a hotel yet. It's not like finding one will be difficult in Burundi, he assures me. We spend the afternoon out on a Primus beer-drenched lunch of brochette and chips at a run-down local joint with a one-room restaurant crammed with 3 tables and a fridge. Guys, I loved how authentic Lerato's writing was. It is amazing how Lucky Dube is loved across the continent. Yep. Miss Weiner says, I traveled in October 2007 to Tanzania just after he was killed, and I had to explain over and over why South Africans butchered him. Yeah. Even here, she also mentions that they asked her, why we love Lucky Dube so much. Why did you people kill him? Why did you guys kill him? You know, hi Makanaka. Tabiso says the experience sounds amazing. Lerato, and the fact that she wrote this down, it means when she's old, her grandkids will have this. Her family will have this as a reference. She won't be sitting on a stoop telling the stories, but she will, obviously, because she's cool like that. But yeah, this, documenting this story, it was an amazing, we are not even deserving of this, but yeah, I'm gonna stop right here, guys. But I loved that chapter about one country One Small Country, Big Heart. There was a lot of love in this book. There was a lot of vulnerability as well. Yeah. And she leaves you thinking that actually, why can't I travel my own continent, you know? Because we are like that. When we think travel, we want to travel overseas. And Africa, you traveling Africa, your African continent is overseas, you know? Like, why don't we have like girls trips that go to all these places that I mentioned in here, you know? Girls trips are like, oh, let's go to New York, let's go to Paris. Travel your African continent, guys. So I'm definitely getting this read. That's Jane. Thank you. That is the whole point of these readings, to encourage you guys to like get reading and actually go and buy the books. So this is a Blackbird Books title as well, so you know the drill. You can buy this online on blackbirdbooks.africa, or you can check out Blackbird Books here on Instagram. The Instagram page is at blackbirdbooks_Africa. Kumbu says, I love how safe she felt and trusted strangers. I don't think I would do that in South Africa except in rural areas. Correct. I also felt that at no point did yes, I'm afraid for her traveling alone, obviously because of her being a woman, but at no point did she feel unsafe except for one. But like she had an amazing experience. And I wish that for everyone who decides to travel in this manner. I mean, and I liked how she did as the Romans do, you know, like, to quote, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans do. Like, if people are eating from a whole bowl in a group, she would do the same thing, you know. Tabiso says, true. Her posts also have made me change my mind on travel plans. I'm really keen on the rest of Africa experience. Yeah. And I must finally read it. It's been gathering dust on my shelf. You must. It's amazing. And her Instagram page is at Madame Africa as well. And she's been sharing like throwback pictures of all her travels. And it's just like a beautiful scenery, you know. That's what you get with her, and she's just so genuine with herself, and she's like very generous with information as well. There was a lot of information here. I think if you after COVID, if you're planning to travel Africa, this is your book. It'll guide you, it'll give you an idea of everything, and how to react to the uniforms, like she calls the officers at the borders, and that and all the visa stuff, you know. And it's a reassurance that you mustn't panic, you know. Like there was a point where she fell sick, and I was worried, you know, like, yo, what's gonna happen? And she was just letting herself heal and sleep it off and recover, and you know. And I loved her, like how she would go back home at some point and go right back, you know. She would just up and go. But yeah, it's a brilliant book. I loved it. I hope that this has encouraged you to pick it up, order it online, order it on Blackbird Books directly, because we're trying to keep Tabiso in business, guys. Blackbird Books .Africa. And they do deliver, and they are very swift. Or you can just email them if you're not sure. If you are, yes. At Puling says, I loved how it was a religious and spiritual journey too. Yes, and I loved her love for her family. It appeared in a few scenes, and yeah. So yes, guys, and I loved how, like I said, like surround yourselves with people who spark that love that you have. Her friends were always like ready to, you know, help out around with her travels or her arrangements and whatnot. So yes, she has a whole bunch of like a support system that is always ready to assist. So yes, wandering through Africa on faith. That is that. And yeah, this is like an amazing memoir. It's her love letter to Africa, basically. Hi everybody who just came in. I just finished reading from Vagabond, Wandering Through Africa on Faith. If you've missed it, you can check it out on IGTV. I'm going to load this up, and I will also load it up onto the YouTube page. It's actually Bookamoso Book Club on YouTube. That's where all the videos are loaded up if you have been missing out. But please go and subscribe. Thank you to my 27 subscribers. Please go subscribe. I will share the details on the Twitter page as well. But thank you guys for joining me. Happy Friday. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you've made the decision that after COVID, you will be traveling your continent. Thank you guys. Let me see. Okay, so Tabiso is gonna read the book and Jane is gonna buy the book. Okay. Let me know in the DM if you would like the link to the Spotify as well. The Spotify playlists that I've compiled of some of the artists that are featured in the book. But thank you guys for joining me. I shall see you on Monday. Happy weekend. COVID has dealt with us. Oh, I even miss going to Bloem. I miss going home. I miss getting on the highway and like going through the toll gates and seeing my mom and dad. And yeah, but it is what it is. We will go traveling next year. Hey, Lerato came. Hey, Lerato. I love you. Thank you for this love letter. Okay, I gotta go, guys. I'm gonna cook. Mwah. Bye. Thank you. Okay, Kumbu, I'll share the playlist with you. Cool. Bye.